Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ate Avifa di episode ini from class 2021A. I'm going to continue the psycholinguistics text. So I will presenting our group work on text 2. First question is what. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Asta Avifa di episode ini from class 2021A. So I will continue to presenting our group work from task 2. So the first question is what kinds of mental process do speakers go through prior to articulation? So our answer is prior to speaking, speakers prepare their speech by organizing ideas, choosing words, and coordinating sounds articulation. This process includes conceptualization, linguistic encoding, motor planning, and phonological encoding. Speakers continuously monitor their speech for errors and adjust to social and pragmatic factors. This mental process collaborate rapidly to produce fluent and coherent speech that is appropriate to the context of communication. Okay, next question is, according to Weaver plus model, what kind of representation do speakers activate before they speak? What evidence supports by psychological reality of models such as Weaver++, what observations suggest that aspect of the Weaver++ system may not be present in human speakers. Yeah. According to the Weaver++ model, speakers activate a variety of verbal information before producing spoken words. This representation includes lemmas, word-related concepts, morphemes or morphistic units, phonemes, and syllable structure. Weaver++ suggests that language production is a combination of spreading, activation, and verifying activated information using production rules. Convergent experimental and computer simulation will provide evidence for the psychological reality of models such as Weaver++. Simulation using the WUNDT 2.0 model, which includes Weaver++ suggests that attention is critical for language performance. Weaver++ reliably predicts response times in trials using picture word inference and implicit priming paradigms. The observation indicating that features of the Weaver++ system may not be present in human speakers are mostly related to the model's recommended level of modularity and automaticity. Some detectors contain that language generation is more interactive and less modular than Weaver++ suggests. Furthermore, although Weaver++ provides a persuasive account of many phenomena associated with language generation, it does not address every component of language processing, such as pragmatic considerations and contextual impact. Okay. Next question is, describe the difference between a concept and a lexicalized concept. What roles do each of them play in speech production? Concepts are abstract ideas, while lexicalized concepts are those ideas expressed in language. Concepts convey meaning, while lexicalized concept provides specific words or phrases to articulate them. When speaking, individuals draw on concept to construct words and sentences, while lexicalized concepts simplify this process by offering pre-existing linguistics units for communication. Concepts are like your ideas, free language around this. Lexicalized concepts are those ideas linked to specific words. Bold, when you speak, your concepts part to search for the right words, or lexicalized concept to say what you mean. So concepts are the what and lexicalized concepts are the how of expressing them. Next question is, what kind of errors do people make when they speak? What do errors tell us about the speaker's mental process? Okay. So when people speak, they can make various types of error. First is grammatical errors, mistakes in grammar, such as subject-verb agreement or tense inconsistency. And then lexical errors, using the wrong word or mispronouncing words. And then fluency errors is hesitation, pauses, repetition, or filler words like or uh. And then semantic errors is using words incorrectly and conveying unintended meaning. And then pragmatic errors is misusing language in context, like being impolite or not considering the listener perspective. And then speech sound errors is mispronunciation, substitution, or distortions of speech sounds. And the cognitive error is forgetting information, losing focus, and struggling to organize thoughts during speech. Speakers' errors offer valuable insights into their mental process. Grammatical mistakes might signal issues with language structure or momentary lapse in attention. Lexical errors could point to difficulties in assessing or recalling words accurately. Fluency errors might indicate challenge in in, in organizing thoughts or planning speech. Semantic errors might reveal confusing about language meaning. Pragmatic errors could not suggest deficits in social cognition. Speech sound error may indicate problem in speech planning or execution. Finally, cognitive errors like forgetting information can shed light on memory and attention abilities. Analyzing this error helps understand how people process language and their cognitive functions. And then describe similarities and differences between Dell's spreading activation model and the Wafer++ model of speech production. What evidence favor each account? Okay, so the similarities. So both models make use of spreading activation. Thus, concept relies on spreading activation inside of lexical network, while Weaver++ use it in its word form encoding. Word production step, both models describe a set of steps that occur during word production. This model incorporates producers like lemma, morpheme, and phoneme selection, comparable to Weaver++ pieces. Okay, differences. The Weaver++ follows a top-down architecture with information flowing from abstract to concrete levels, whereas Dell's model involves concurrent and interactive processing at many stages of language development. Weaver++ focus just on producing single words, but Dell's approach includes a larger variety of language creation process, including sentence production. And then the evidence is Dell's model is supported by speech error analysis and lexical error network activation dispersion. Weaver++ supported by experimental evidence that match with the processing sequence suggested by the model, as well as computer simulation that depict patterns of implied and spirit naming and comprehension. Okay. This next question is describe the tip of the tongue phenomenon. What kinds of words are most likely to produce a TOT and why? Our question is the tip of the tail or TOT phenomenon describes a circumstance in which a person understands a word but temporarily forgets it. It words that tends to produce TOs typically are infrequent use makes it difficult to recall a term from memory. Longer words take longer to recover, which increases the chance of encountering TOT. And then ambiguous words with many meanings might lead to TOT due to difficulty and in selecting the correct one. And then the last one is homophones or words that share similar sounds might cause confusion and TOT. So TOT is more widespread in monolinguals, bilinguals, and multilinguals equally, though to variable degrees. In other words, TOT is more common with terms that are rarely used, longer, ambiguous, and homophonic. TOT is more common in older persons with subjective memory issues and is more effectively resolved using syllabic signal. Okay, next question is how is speech perceived according to Lieberman's motor theory? What is core articulation and what role does it play in theory? What is the McGurk effect and what does it tell us about speech perception? Why do some people believe that motor neurons provide the physical or natural basis for speech perception? Is there anything wrong with the mirror neuron hypothesis? So, our answer is in Lieberman's motor theory of speech perception, individuals experience speech by distinguishing the vocal tract gesture used to make it. According to this hypothesis, speech perception involves not only decoding auditory data but also activating motor representation of the articulatory action required to make speech. And then co-articulation is a phenomenon in which the articulation of one sound is modified by the articulation of adjacent sounds. The motor theory of speech perception emphasizes the importance of co-articulation in providing information about the articulatory gestures used to make speech sound. Using co-articulatory information helps listeners recognize the speaker's intended phonemic motions. Then, the McGurk effect is a perceptual phenomenon demonstrating the interaction of auditory and visual information during speech perception. The McGurk effect happens when the speaker's lip movement do not correspond to the auditory speech signal, causing listeners to perceive a different sound that was really delivered. The McGurk effect demonstrates that speech perception relies on both acoustic and visual information, and that the brain combines these two types of information to perceive speech. Because of the intimate relationship between speech perception and output, some researchers believe motor neurons, namely mirror neurons, play a function in speech perception. Mirror neurons may improve speech perception by replicating the movement of the speaker's vocal tract, thereby activating motor repressions essential for speech production. However, critics of the mirror neurons hypothesis claim that it lacks specificity and cannot explain all the elements of speech perception. Alternative theories propose that bottom-up and top-down process technique with the brain combining auditory and contextual information to comprehend speech. Okay. The last question is, what are the chief theoretical alternative to motor theory? Why might one prefer this alternative? So, here are some prominent alternatives to the motor theory. First is phonetic categorization theory emphasizes the role of speech sounds, acoustic properties in perception. According to the study, Listeners detect speech signals using auditory qualities rather than muscular representation. Stephen Picker and Alan Prince developed feature in integration theory, which explains speech perception using both bottom-up and top-down processing. Listeners recognize speech using spectrogram, prosody, and context. And then last is neo-prosodiological methods. So these approaches focus on the fundamental brain mechanics of speech perception. They want to know how the brain interprets speech signals and how different regions of the brain work together to facilitate speech understanding. So the several reason why one might prefer this alternative is first, alternative theories might better align with existing data and experimental findings, resulting in more convincing descriptions of speech perception, and then greater simplicity. Certain alternative theories may be simple and easier to test empirically, making them more appealing possibilities. And then the last one is alternative theories may include variables other than matter representation, allowing for a more comprehensive understanding of speech perception. Okay, so that's all for our group work. Thank you so much for your attention.